maybe ever. I don't know at that time. But I got that was early on. I got my head right with all of that pretty quickly, and me and Josh got super super tight, and still are to this day. We're the guys that call each other as grown men now when we need to talk. He's like one of the first people that I will call if I've got something that I need to discuss, and we have that kind of relationship. So, but yeah, I hope to have that. I'd love to have that with Malcolm one day. And the difficult thing about being an older dad, and I've talked to Craig about this, is when you start doing the mathematics, it gets it can be overwhelming because you start thinking about things, and it's like, I don't know if I'll see the day that my newest son is the same age as my oldest. I don't know. That's asking a lot. So yeah, you can really fuck your brain by doing the math being an old dad for sure.
Well, you've had one of the.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You were going to add to that.
I was saying it's there. There's probably it. The fact that most women can't have children when they're 54. It's I don't know why
biological unfairness.
Our flawed God made men able to still produce them.
Mm-hmm.
Makes no sense.
Now I forgot what I was going to ask you. What was the time you were maddest at me?
At you?
Yeah.
I've never been mad at you. Mad?
Yeah.
Oh, I would get frustrated with you when you wouldn't turn in your songs on time for the time wasters. That's about as mad as I've ever gotten with you, I think. Why, do you recall something different?
No, I never remember us getting in any fight.
No.
Which is unusual because
you fought everybody up there.
I argued with, it seemed like I got into an argument with just about everyone in the first 5 years of the ticket for sure. But I've changed, and I don't think you're respecting that.
You're probably right.
Quote. That's my quote. Isn't that the quote? I've changed the way I do things in the past 5 years, and I don't think you're respecting that. That's one of my
make it their problem.
That's one of my big drops there. Uh-huh. All right, let's see. Let's take a few questions. I don't know that this live stream. I thought you've said some very beautiful stuff, Danny. By the way, and that's just further proof of why I love you. That
well, I love you too.
When we talk, we always talk about stuff like this, and I love it.
I love that we're sitting here bearing our souls, and all it is my pig
stories over and over and over again. Okay, let's see what I can find here in this chat. Hold on, let me go to my. I've got to pop out.
I mean, this honestly, Gordon, this conversation to the masses has got to be incredibly arduous.
It might be. I don't know how this is being.
I would say to most people, what we're talking about right now has got to be, what are they doing? I want to hear Microphone Johnson and Phil Time. That's what people want to hear.
Time. No one wants to hear Phil Time. You're the only dude who remembers that.
Do you even remember the voice?
No. What was it like?
Do you even know the concept of Phil Time?
No. I just remember he was on the hard line.
Phil Time.
Because he was there to fill time.
Yes.
But how did he talk?
That you made up in like 5 minutes, because I think it was on the hard line. They're like, do something funny. We need something funny. We need a funny segment.
Funny,
do something hilarious. And you're like, okay. And you came on the air and they're like, who's this? This is Phil Time.
It was that slow?
What do you do? I work in business. And it was everything the most generic. Well, where did you go to college? State. Everything was so generic, but he had this cadence and pacing that was so exhausting. And he would always reset who you were. Like at the end of you'd answer a question, and then you go, I'm Phil Time. Oh, we know who you are. But yeah, Phil Time's sole purpose was to fill time.
I miss.
He didn't exist until that point.
The days when we we could be that experimental to where we just had no urgency to get a joke out on the air.
The esoteric characters that just came out of nowhere just to literally fill time.
All right, let's see.
You had to name a guy, fill time.
One person's asking for a live country cream spot. No. Danny's oldest son looks like Austin Butler. Who's Austin Butler?
I don't know.
Existential crisis talk, please. What? I would never have known what docking was without Dingu and Gordo. You want to tell everyone what docking is?
I don't even think I know. Does it have to do with the foreskin?
Mm-hmm.
It's when one guy doesn't have one and the other does, and they put their ding-dongs together and the foreskin covers the other guy's ding-dong? Is that it?
Close. I think they both can be uncircumcised, though. At least that's the way I've always performed it.
Well, so you just touch your dicks together and that's it?
Yeah, and then use each other's foreskin as a sleeve, but let's not get into it. Comment about Camus. No. There's got to be something here for us. Is Gordo in the Oswald tub? No.
Here's one. You kiss dicks. Let's talk about that.
We only have 8 minutes left.
These comments are terrible.
I know. So I was like worried.
They were so much better during our sound check.
I was all worried that while we were talking, like great questions were going by and that we were missing a lot of stuff, but I guess not.
Buffoonery. They're doing their own show because they're bored with what we're talking about. That's exactly what this is. This is the control room with me and Mino while Bob's talking about soccer. We're just in there just doing our own thing.
All right. I'm trying to find something. Can we get you... Oh, somebody asked earlier about the names of your bars. Like they wanted to know...
They're both named the same thing. One's in Dallas and one's in Fort Worth. Twilight Lounge, Lite.
Twilight Lounge.
Mm-hmm.
Danny, tell us about your turkey of wood. What does that mean? What does that mean?
I think I did a Thanksgiving song where the singer of the song said that turkey tasted like wood.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Favorite bass guitar of all time? That's a good one. Oh, we're getting back to music here. I think that the precision bass is the bass. That is
the industry standard, right?
Yes. Yes.
The holy grail.
And it is shocking that is the first electric bass. Now they did change the design of it a few years into it, but still the first electric bass is still the standard bass, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, it is. And they've tried tricking them up over the years, but yeah, that's why everybody wants the old ones. That's why the old ones are worth so much freaking money. But I agree with you. Yeah. I think anything from early 60s to early 70s are just phenomenal.
Is there any girl that you were once in love with that you still are kind of in love with?
No.
You fall out of love. Once you're out of love, they become a regular person once again, right?
Well, I mean, it just fades.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. Because look, if you pine for someone and continue to pine for someone, and you're not together because she doesn't want to be with you. So what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
You let that fade.
What about your high school sweetheart? Do you know whatever happened to her? What happened to your high school sweetheart?
I didn't have one.
You were in a small high school, right?
Yeah. I didn't have a girlfriend until I moved here.
When'd you lose your virginity?
17? Almost 18? Yeah,
you know, they say that
I was almost 18.
They say kids are losing it later these days. Like, the age is creeping up.
Mm-hmm.
I guess because people socialize online, don't see each other in real life as much.
Yeah, they send each other pics of their privates and.
Have you ever done that? You ever sent a picture of your rooster?
Have I sent a picture of my rooster?
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't. Just my butthole. I send a lot of butthole pics. Like every day.
You're going to do one of those massive
My mom is fed up with them.
time lapses of how it's changed over the years, day by day, the way some people do those with kids, and show.
Keeps growing more and more.
First 20 years.
Looks like the label on a pair of Fruit of the Looms.
Oh, my gosh. Jeez.
Remember when Davies?
Yes, he should have never told that story.
We described it as the label on a pair of underwear.
He had hemorrhoids, and he said it looked like a grape cluster down there. It's the worst visual ever. Just stick in someone's mind. How many people were in your graduating class?
34, 35.
And this was in Knox City?
Yeah.
That's where you were when you graduated. See, you, I think, have the most fascinating life of anyone at the ticket. Because you came from like these small areas. You were adopted, right? Mm-hmm. And you grew up in foster homes the first year of your life.
10 months.
First 10 months of your life. We're in a series of foster homes. You get adopted. Your adopted parents were older, right?
Yes, my mom was 41, 42, 41. Yeah, and my dad was 35.
And you guys were moved around a lot. Was your dad military?
Yeah, Navy.
So how many different places did you live in before you graduated?
I think I replied to Davey's tweet when you guys were doing that segment on the Musers about all the houses that you lived in, and I think out of all of the principal players in that, I think I won, but it wasn't by much. I think by the time I had settled in Knox City, which would have been the 5th grade, I believe that we lived at around 12 places before I was 10.
Dang.
Something like that.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Quite a bit.
Do you remember having any trauma around those moves, or was it just the background noise of your life was moving?
I don't recall any emotional trauma as a result of that. It seemed like it was pretty much the soundtrack, like you said, background noise of it was just the way it was. I did, when we lived in Memphis, those are some of the best memories that I have of childhood, because we did live in Memphis for probably the longest period of time before we settled in Texas and I settled in Knox City. But those are probably the best memories. So I think, moving from there, that sucked because I really liked it there. I've driven back through whenever I've gone to Nashville or to the East Coast. I've driven through Memphis and gone by my childhood home and driven in that neighborhood and always, slow down in front of the house. 1990 Pamela Drive.
How long did you live there?
3 years, 2.5, 3 years. So I say the longest time. It sounds like, you're thinking, 10 years. It's like, no, it was like 2.5, 3 years, maybe. And kindergarten, first grade.
Yeah, and that's a real prime time for great memories too there, that age.
Oh yeah, because they're kind of like your first real colorful, vibrant memories. I mean, where you can actually, your memories are actually long form videos rather than just the snapshots that you have from maybe when you're 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's your first memory? You ever figured that out? Like, what is the first thing you remember in your life?
I think for the longest time, I thought it was, I thought it was being at my grandparents and having to go somewhere because of a tornado that was coming. But I also believe that memory might have been suggested. So I don't really recall. I don't know what my first memory, because I would have been way too young to have that clear of a memory. I think a lot of our earliest memories can be suggested to us because they're told to us from when we're as young as we are, and we develop that very clear image of the description that's given to us, that we kind of believe them to be our POV experience of that, but they're not necessarily that.
I think we'd be shocked at how many false memories we have, or at least not exactly accurate memories we have.
And I think those things can happen as we grow out of that, even like when we're 6, 7, 8, 9. I fully believe that.
All right, and who's your favorite bass player of all time? Jamerson?
It's Jamerson is probably my favorite to like listen to and try to figure out. But I would say the one that probably influenced me the most, as far as the way I play now, is probably Duck Dunn from from the MGs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just his simplistic yet funky approach. You could do what he does, where Jamerson is like on another level, where there's a lot that goes into that. That was a gift. That was one of those, like that was like Stevie Wonder good.
Still freaks me out that he played with one finger, like the hook. I mean, I just don't understand how you play with one finger. Did all that stuff.
I've tried it, and you can do it, but it is really hard.